Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us. If you'd like to record, just put it in the chat. We're going to get started with Coach Curtin. After his opening statement, we'll go right into questions.
Yeah, thanks, Nico. No secret, we have hit a difficult stretch. Our first, losing streak here in Subaru Park in several years, and it's hard for everybody. But we also recognize the only people that can get us out of this are the coaches and the players. I think the fans have done an amazing job in recent weeks, pushing us really hard after we've kind of dug a hole for ourselves. And it's not through lack of effort. It's not through lack of chance creation. We've had goals called back. We've had things go against us. But we need to eliminate mistakes and create our own luck. We certainly have the players in that locker room that are more than capable of getting on a new winning streak. And it starts with a good performance against New York City, a team that's coming in good form, coming off of a big win, has a busy schedule just like us. And we know with our group it's about getting back to basics, finding a way to get a result, and then, like I said, putting good performances back to back. We've done some good things in our recent games, but haven't played a collective 90 minutes and certainly have things we need to clean up on the defensive side of the ball.
Thanks, Jen. We can start with questions in the room. Jonathan?
Start the procedural stuff out of the way. Andre Blake, Olivier Bizo, Marcus Anderson.
Yeah, Andre still will be out. Olivier rejoins the group and is available for selection. Marcus is just started training again. Olivier's ahead of him in terms of where he's at physically, but Marcus has looked good in training and is available, but still maybe not quite 100%.
Daniel Gastag is called up to Hungary.
Yeah.
You got a date yet on when he's going to leave, and you have a date yet on the other guys yet who you know you're going to lose?
Yeah, look, every camp's going to well, I should start by saying congratulations to Danny. Great achievement, great competition. It's something we've known for a while is going to be coming. We're going to be missing a lot of guys as the summer months get here, but I think, Jonathan, each case and each manager is going to want their players as early as possible. That's natural and normal when you go into these huge competitions like the Euros, like Copa America, like the Olympics. So we'll work with each individual national team as best we can to recognize, we still need these guys here for the bulk of our games. There's as many as we can keep them here for, but also recognizing they're going to prepare for a huge competition and have to realize and respect that they need to be with their national teams too. So hopefully with each agreement we can, maximize the amount of time that they're here, but also not get them in any trouble with their national teams too. So he's going to be here for a bit. I don't know the exact date yet. That'll still be kind of fluid. But certainly congrats to Danny and a really good Hungary national team that can do some damage in that competition, I believe.
Jim, I think it's been 8 goals that you guys have allowed from outside the box this year.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's anything you attribute that to that's maybe fixable, and if that's something that maybe you weigh. So many of those goals seem like they've come on the sides of the diamond between the lines. If that's something that weighs on you in terms of personnel or formational adjustments.
Yeah, look, we've analyzed, we've taken every piece of data you possibly could imagine, right, to look at what we can improve, what we can fix from our shape, our compactness, tightness of lines, blocking shots, protecting the red zone a little bit better. No matter how you shake it, we've given up 30 goals this year in 15 games, which for us, you guys have heard me sit up here for 6 consecutive years and said we are built to play compact, to not concede, take pride in our defending, and everyone would agree in the world, 30 goals in 15 is not us, and our players would say the same thing. So that certainly is the first thing. This year, 8 goals have come from outside the box. I think it's even more if you go into Champions League. My 30 includes Champions League because those games matter too. It gets even higher. I think it's around 11. Contrast that with 2022, we gave up 0. So there is a difference there. That's a huge discrepancy. Part of that's our guys taking the last step, getting a deflection, getting a block, getting a big save in a certain moment to bail you out too, when maybe you're not at your sharpest defensively. So all those things are factors, so have to tighten that up. Certainly, with the diamond protecting certain areas can be improved. The relationships of the partners on the field, center back to outside back, center back to center back, center back to the guys in front of them at the 6. There's a lot of things that can certainly improve, and I think it will over time, because like I said, we still have great players in that locker room, and players that are more than capable of getting out of this tough spell. It's a 3-game tough spell. We've lost 3 games perspective wise. We're a 500 team right now, so it's not completely like the sky's falling. We don't want to get too low or too high during the course of a season, but you're certainly fair in that assessment of conceding too many goals from outside the box for sure is something we can do better with.
In the kind of chicken and the egg of it, obviously you guys are scoring a lot.
Yeah.
Does scoring that much open you guys then up for concession? Obviously some of that's game states and giving up the first goal and chasing, and that leads to more open goal games, but I wonder how you kind of look at trying to draw that back, how to keep the good with eliminating the bad, and how that kind of causality kind of plays into it.
Yeah, it can be misleading, right? You get 30 shots because now when it's 3-1 against Orlando, they're going to sit a lot deeper, and it's easier to have the ball, and you have less pressure on you. So we definitely analyze the game state a lot. We going back in certain years when we would win games, you'd have the 4 or 5-0 games, and we'd be like, look, we're not running, we're not covering ground. It's like, well, we're up 6-0. So, there's a give take with these types of things in analytics and data. So we try to take the game state into a factor. But the reality is, guys, and you guys know the goals. You watch them with me. We watch them with the players. The amount of goals where you go, wow, 5-pass sequence, guy hits a great shot, where you go tip your cap to the opponent and say, wow, that's a goal that they really deserved. There's not that many this year. There are a lot of unforced errors, balls played right to the opponent that lead to transitions at really bad moments. We have own goals, we have penalty kicks, we have things that are self-created and self-inflicted, and quite frankly uncharacteristic of guys that have been some of the best players in this league over the last several seasons. So we can fix it. We have to do it quickly, though. I recognize there's urgency, but I believe, again, very much in our staff and our group that we'll get ourselves out of this.
Dave and John have got a couple on Zoom.
Thanks, Erica. Jim, what's it going to be like going up against Matt Freese, a guy that you have a lot of history with the club?
Yeah, Matt's having a great year. You talk about the data. He's had one of the best years statistically for goalkeepers. So happy for Matt. Look, with Matt and with every player, I think every case is different. With Matt, there was because he's such a great human being, great person, there was I don't want to say moral, thing where we decided to let him get a chance to be a starter. But if you remember, Andre obviously was and still is the top goalkeeper in the league. So Matt didn't get his opportunities. We saw a window where he had a chance to become a starter. It took some time in New York City, but he's playing great right now and flying. So I'm happy for Matt. Tomorrow I want to beat Matt, but make no mistake about that. But I'm proud of what he's done. He's a great kid, great player. And like I said, all these relationships that you have with people through the game, tend to come back at certain moments in your lives and your careers. And Matt did great work for us. I loved working with the kid, but he's on a different team now. I know Matt would probably say the same thing. He still loves Philadelphia. He loved his time here, but he's on a different team now and wants to beat us. So that's the reality of competition. That's the reality of actual development. And he still is, like we've believed for a while, a top goalkeeper.
On the defensive side of things, as you figure out what your best pairing is right now, the center backs, when you play low in Glesnes and one goes up and the other also likes to go up, is that something that you've talked about in the film room this week to maybe cut down on that?
Yeah, we even talked, Jonathan, too, with our outside backs. We've really done a good job this year, and it's led to good attacks where now Jack drops deep and Kai goes beyond him, or even Ali drops deep or Quinny and Nathan runs beyond him. And then we kind of also have analyzed that's good occasionally, but maybe that's not good for the entire 90 minutes because you might leave yourself exposed. Certainly skill set wise, every center back's going to have a different set of and traits and attributes that suits them. So I think all of our guys can relate to each other and have success for sure. But we all have to get in our top form as well, and the players around each other have to get in top form, and that is something that comes with reps and training. It comes with the cohesiveness of playing a run of games together. So we're looking at all those things, but certainly, aggressiveness is one of Damien's and Jacob's attributes for sure, and really protecting the center and making New York City go around us but never through us is certainly going to be a priority in this game. They flood things centrally really, really well. A lot of quick, short passes, and can have some really skillful attackers regardless of they have probably 8 or 9 to choose from. They have a really good group. So regardless of in this busy stretch who they choose, it's going to be a difficult task, but certainly defending inside to out is one of our main principles, and really protecting the middle because that's where goals come.
Had there not been so much discussion of the defense on Saturday, we might have said to you that Mikhail scored a bit of a statement goal, coming right into his first start and finding the net. How important was that for him?
Yeah, one of his best games for us, not just this year, but for all of his games. So that's a positive. I thought he stepped up in a big way, held the ball up for us, drew fouls, ran in the box hard, had a great layoff for Danny that could have made it 2-0 that Gillespie makes a big save on. So these are the little moments where we're just coming up a little short, but Mikhail had a great performance, and that's what we need from him. This will be the first run now where we will get him, Julian, and Danny on the field kind of all in decent form due to suspensions, injuries, new babies. We haven't had them all kind of going together yet. So you guys know when they're going good, it's tough for defenses to stop, and this will be a first opportunity for that this season.
Maribo gets on the field finally, tells us he got a nice little boost of confidence, had some conversations with you. Where is he?
Yeah, look, he's working really hard in training, and he deserved the minutes. He probably deserved a few more minutes, but the game went the way that it went, and that's what we chose. So Ty's been really professional, working hard, and is going to play a big role for us moving forward. We're going to need him. Like I said, guys are going to be going away coming up here in the coming weeks and months. So other guys are going to have to step up, and his minutes were earned, and he's doing great in training and taking a step forward, which we're really happy to see.
We can switch over to Zoom. We'll go with Jim Tanti.
Hey Jim, when it comes to these 3 games, 8 days, 7 days spell, how much does chasing the game like you guys did on Saturday affect how maybe not Wednesday, but going into Saturday on that 3rd game compared to what you guys are used to, where you're kind of dictating that pace in the first game, able to kind of manage those minutes better?
Yeah, look, you've heard it from every coach in every league in the world. Rest is critical for these athletes. Nick Cushing will say the same thing, right? He's going to have a turnaround and play a derby match against Red Bull on Saturday. I always wish these games could be Sundays. Again, I get the TV and Apple, and I understand it now. But if you go Saturday, Wednesday, the players can handle that. The real tough turnaround now is the 2-day window to play on Saturday, again, high intensity. That extra day of rest and having it be Sunday would be ideal. And I know we don't live in an ideal world. So it's going to be a challenge for both teams for sure. You have to manage, minutes in a smart way. We played 115 of them on the weekend as well. So it's a factor. But we'll have a group that's out there that is fresh, ready to go, and full focus on getting results. Maybe we have to sub a little earlier with certain guys, but that's the way it is.
Julian?
Thanks, Nico. Hi, Jim. Watching Matt Freese, just circling back to him a little bit, in his time here at the Union and then seeing him with NYCFC, what areas have you seen improvement in him, watching his film, if any?
Yeah, so Matt's kind of the modern goalkeeper, and still in goalkeeping years is very young. He's good with the ball at his feet, makes good decisions. You can tell he takes care of his body now, really, really well. Part of that just takes time, learning what it's like to be in the weight room and approach that in a smart way, not get in the beach muscles, but also, keeping your flexibility. He's been excellent for them, has made a lot of big saves, and you see there's a certain presence that goalkeepers have. Andre Blake has it, and Matt Freese now has grown into one of those guys where you look back there and he just looks like a presence, which is a compliment. I hope that's coming off in the right way. But he's done a great job. Again, to see him get better here, to see him improve in New York City as well, it does make me happy. But at the same time now, Matt's wearing a different jersey on the weekend on Wednesday night, and we'll try and get a win.
Final question, we'll go to Renee Washington.
Thank you. Hey, Jim. Just wanted to ask, it seems like offensively the cohesion is there, the chemistry is
Yeah.
there, which is considering a lot of attacks, great attacks. But defensively, as I know you were talking about earlier, it feels like there's a disconnect all throughout the field. What did you guys talk about in terms of communication and making sure you're on the same page defensively to be tighter and more organized?
Yeah, I think that, I think the timing of when we've conceded and when we've made big mistakes shouldn't go not looked at, and it's certainly something we've analyzed quite a bit. So we start last game as an example because it's the most recent game in a pretty good way. We get the first goal. Now we concede, and you can still go back and look at it. We analyze all the stuff and we send stuff to the referees. Quinny clears the ball, it lands, you could argue, 25 to 30 yards from goal. Nico Ladero, clever, smart player, throws it in at about the 10 to 12 yard line, catches us off guard, and they punish us. So that one we actually were angry about, but we're still in the game and we're still playing well. We made a big mistake in the second goal. I don't have to point out exactly what happened, but you guys know we play a ball directly to them. And the timing of it, right, close to halftime, and it just hurts, So now there's the stadium gets quiet naturally because you concede in a silly way, and you can feel it take the wind out of our players' sails too. So, finding ways, to get a second goal where we were close to getting it the other night can be the difference. So I would say the timing of when we concede has been really, really poor. Come out of halftime. I think the guys are up for it, and we start just flat, and they score right out of halftime. So, again, put ourselves behind the eight ball, make it hard. Physically and grit and guts, we show a ton to get back in the game, and even miss a PK at the end that could tie it, and had even chances after that. So we show a ton of heart and character, but Renee, it's a really hard way to play, emotionally to come back and after letting yourself down with unforced errors. It's not healthy, and it's not sustainable. So we have to eliminate the mistakes, get back to what has made us really, really good over the last 6 years, which is our consistency, not making mistakes, and being hard to play against defensively. I think we'll get that right, but it hurts right now. We don't hide from that, and it's rare, right? Because we've been so consistent and good for so long about not giving up silly goals. When it happens, everybody, including fans and us, is kind of caught off guard, but we can fix it, and I trust that we will.
All right, thanks everyone. Thanks, Jim.
Thank you.